You're sitting at your desk, scrolling through endless spec sheets, wondering if the next mini PC you buy will actually make a difference in your day-to-day workflow. You don't need a flashy list of ports you'll never use. You just want something that slides onto a small footprint, stays cool while you're juggling a few Adobe apps, and doesn't force you to compromise on speed when you open that 2 GB video file. The fear of spending good money on a machine that ends up gathering dust because it can't keep up is real, especially when the market is flooded with compact boxes that promise lightning-fast performance but hide noisy fans and cramped upgrade paths. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's talk about the HP Z2 G9 Workstation Mini PC. At first glance, it looks like any other compact box you'd see on a coworker's desk, but the internals are a bit of a surprise. Under the hood sits a 12th Gen Intel Core i7-12700, a 12-core chip that, despite the Mini label, handles multi-threaded workloads like rendering a short 4K clip or exporting a large Photoshop file without making you wait forever. Paired with 16 GB of DDR5 memory, the system can keep a dozen browser tabs open, run a local virtual machine, and still have enough headroom for a light game of what-if rendering. The 512 GB SSD isn't massive, but it's fast enough that loading Premiere Pro projects feels almost instant, and you can always bolt an external NVMe enclosure via the USB-C port for extra storage when the need arises. What makes this little workstation truly practical is how it fits into a real office setup. The chassis measures just under 12 inches wide, so it slides neatly between a dual-monitor stand and a small desk lamp, freeing up precious surface area for sketches or a notepad. The rear panel offers a solid mix of connectivity. 2 USB-A 3.2 ports for your classic peripherals, a USB-C that supports both data and display output, a full-size HDMI 2.1 for a secondary monitor, and a dedicated Ethernet jack for reliable wired networking. No more juggling dongles when you need a stable connection for large file transfers. If you're the type who plugs a USB-C hub into a laptop to get more ports, you'll appreciate that the Z2 G9 already gives you most of what you need without the extra clutter. Thermals are often the Achilles heel of mini PCs, and the Z2 G9 handles them better than many of its peers. The 280W power supply is built into the chassis, and the cooling solution uses a single, intelligently placed fan that spins up only when the CPU hits sustained loads. In everyday use, checking email, running spreadsheets, editing photos, the fan is barely audible, more of a gentle hum than a whine. When you push the machine with a 30-minute video encode, the fan ramps up, but it stays under 35 dB, which is still tolerable in an open office or a home studio. The heat dissipation is efficient enough that you won't notice throttling, even after a few hours of continuous work. Now, who should actually consider buying this little powerhouse? If you're a freelance graphic designer, a small business owner who needs a reliable secondary machine for client presentations, or a remote worker who wants a dedicated workstation that doesn't dominate the desk, the Z2 G9 hits the sweet spot. Its size means you can mount it under a monitor with a VESA bracket, keeping the top of the desk completely clear. The 12-core CPU is overkill for plain document editing, but it shines when you're running Photoshop's AI filters, doing light 3D modeling in Blender, or compiling code on multiple cores. The included Windows 11 Pro license also gives you business-grade security features, which is a subtle but useful bonus for anyone handling client data. On the flip side, there are scenarios where this mini PC just isn't the right tool. If your work revolves around heavy 3D rendering, large-scale simulations, or you need a GPU-intensive workflow, think real-time ray tracing or VR development, the Z2 G9's integrated graphics will feel limiting. In those cases, a full tower with a discrete graphics card makes more sense, both for performance and for future upgrades. Similarly, if you travel a lot and need a machine you can toss in a backpack, a thin and light laptop would be more practical. The Z2 G9, while portable enough to move between rooms, isn't built for the road. Upgrading the RAM is straightforward. There are 2 DDR5 slots, so you can bump from 16 GB to 32 GB without opening a warranty-voiding case. But the SSD is soldered, so you're stuck with the 512 GB unless you rely on external storage. Overall, the HP Z2 G9 workstation delivers on the promise of a compact, quiet, and surprisingly capable desktop. It fills the niche between a sluggish all-in-one and a full-blown tower, giving you enough horsepower for most creative and productivity tasks while staying out of the way on your desk. If you're looking for a machine that won't scream at you when you open a large file, won't hog your workspace, and offers a clean upgrade,